Hey everybody, welcome to Rahdo Runs Through. We're always trying to bring you the best the board game industry has to offer, and for the final week of September, it's going to be busy. If all goes to plan, 11 new videos are going up on the channel. There's a whole bunch to talk about, so let me just give you the rundown right now, starting with the latest episode of the R&R show, which is always one of my favorite things to do on the channel. Ruel, Gaviola, and I get together. We do a new top 10. We give away prizes. We do lots of interaction with the audience while we're live streaming, all kinds of interesting segments. And if you can't make it for the live stream, don't worry, it'll go up on YouTube as well, or also on the podcast stream. But we hope to see you there because I think everybody has a great time, although nobody more than me and Ruel, when we do the next episode of the R&R show. Also, I will be doing the latest Rahdo Roundup. It's something I do at the end of every month, telling you about all the games I played over the preceding 4 or 5 weeks, and I rank them. Our least favorite game, our most favorite game. A new game of the month is crowned every month, and it's not just me. The other contributors to the channel show up too. So this is a really great digest. Hey, learn about a whole bunch of games in a really tight package and find out what are our least favorites and our most favorites when we do the next Rahdo Rounds Up. Also, another show I've started recently, every 2 weeks, I do another episode of Crowd Sorcery, where I tell you about all the crowdfunding games that will be ending their campaign in the following 2 weeks. So, big games, sometimes little obscure games, hidden gems. I do a lot of research and I find all the best stuff, and in this case, I'll be telling you about all the campaigns that will be ending in the first 2 weeks of October. So if you're into crowdfunding board games, folks, you don't want to miss Crowd Sorcery. And speaking of crowdfunding, this week is going to be off the hook. I don't think there's ever going to be more crowdfunding games launching than this week because everybody's trying to get their stuff going before Essen Spiel. So let me tell you about the stuff we're covering. For starters, Terraforming Mars, the dice game, will launch, and I will show you how they squeeze down the big epic gameplay of Terraforming Mars, one of the most widely respected engine building games of all time, into a tight, fast-playing little dice-driven game. And, yeah, it's a very impressive magic trick they pull off with Terraforming Mars, the dice game, and I'll show you how it works. I'll also be showing you Frozen Frontier, the latest from Cosmodrome Games and Arcane Wonders. This is an excellent, rich, meaty, economic simulation euro about mankind's last gasp trying to find a new energy source on a faraway exoplanet. And there's so many cool things about this game from the developers of Aquatica and a bunch of other great games as well. But I think what really pulled me in, even though this is a competitive game, the way players are so synergistically linked together. Everything you do creates opportunities for me and vice versa, and that's what I love to see in a big, meaty, heavy euro like Frozen Frontier. Cannot wait to show it to you. Okay, I'll also be demonstrating Roan Invasion. And now, this is a sequel to a very popular card dueling game. It's gotten a lot of expansions. I've never cared about Roan because it's all about players beating each other up. But this expansion, this standalone spin-off game, basically you can still play it as a duel, but you can also play it cooperatively. And that's where it really comes to life. This uses some of the coolest dice I have ever seen in the board game industry, but I was surprised to find out it wasn't the dice that was the coolest thing about the gameplay. So I'll be demonstrating Roan Invasion just in time for it to launch. And then finally, this cute little game, Mind Your Business, is going toe-to-toe with all these big behemoths, but don't skip over it if you're looking for a light, fun, family-playing filler game that kind of reminds you of those old slider puzzles, but turns it into a cooperative game or a competitive game. There's a lot of ways you can play this. You can really ratchet up the complexity or keep it nice and simple. In fact, in my run-through, I actually demonstrate 2 completely different game modes to, show off the width, the variety of what Mind Your Business does. It's not just me, though, folks. Shay is going to step up to cover Tainted Grail, The Kings of Ruin, which, Tainted Grail is a very popular, very well-loved, and very smartly designed, big, rich, sprawling, fantasy, adventure, cooperative game about the fall of Arthurian legend and the apocalypse that comes thereafter. And here's the thing. King of Ruin, the original Tainted Grail was a bit too grimdark for me and Jen, but watching Shay's run-through of King of Ruin, this sequel standalone game, I think improves on the original in every way. And Shay will show you how. Shay will also potentially be covering the Forgotten History Mammothidus. Now, we haven't heard from the publisher last we heard, they were going to launch this week into this very busy week. They might delay, I'm not quite sure, but if they launch, we'll be there showing you, well, first of all, some of the coolest miniatures you've ever seen, because this is a cooperative game where the former denizens of the Earth decide to leave, just as mankind is starting to ascend in prehistory and ruin everything for them. It kind of has Atlantis Rising vibes, but it's a really interesting co-op, quite unlike any other. And again, these miniatures of the former denizens of the planet are so cool, and Shay does a really great job of showing off this very quirky co-op game. But we're also going to get some stuff from Kimberly, who's covering Materia Prima, the Inquisition. Now, Materia Prima is already a very popular game about, what do you call them? Alchemists, basically trying to gather, ingredients and brew potions. And it's always been loved. This new expansion, though, ratchets up the tension because now the Inquisition is after us. And so there's a whole bunch of extra considerations in this game that was already very rich and deep. And again, hugely popular. It's gotten quite a bit of support over the years. So Kimberly will be showing off the latest expansion, and I think probably the most interesting one, Materia Prima, the Inquisition. And then finally, Kimberly's also going to give us a preview of Lunar Rush. And honestly, I don't know quite what to call this game. I want to call it Pick Up and Deliver, but it's not. It's really, at its heart, a space elevator simulator as we are harvesting resources from the moon and trying to manage the logistics of getting them back to Earth in the most efficient way possible with a very, very cool transportation system as these ships are constantly, we're juggling them, heading up to the moon and then coming back down. Kimberly did a great preview of it. I think you'll really get a good idea of what makes Lunar Rush special. Phew! So that's it, folks. And you might be wondering, hey, wait a minute. Didn't you mention Essence Spiel at the beginning of this? Where's our Essence Spiel preview? Don't worry, folks. It will be coming, but it'll be on October 2nd. So I will remind you next week in the next Coming Soon, where I will be breaking down all of the upcoming stuff. I'm basically pushing off as long as possible so I can have the most thorough list I can. I know a lot of folks have already put theirs up, but you know what? In these final days before the convention, there's always new things, and I want to make sure I don't miss anything when I report for you the absolute best of the best for Essence Spiel. So you can expect that next week on October 2nd. Phew! Like I said, folks, that's it. That's a lot of stuff. And I got to get to work getting all that ready. So hit that button right there. Go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss any of it. And otherwise, while you're waiting, hit any of those buttons and bye. I got to go. I got to get to work. I got to hobble away on my broken foot. All righty. Why are you still here? Click them. Go.